Alrighty, new tradition for Z. Well, not tradition, but like this is a celebration. The first show where I made it to season 4, baby. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia season 4 review. In lock, in check. The fact I even made it to a season 4 of any show for my YouTube review series is honestly kind of incredible. Was not thinking I'd make it this far with anything, but I don't know, man. I gotta keep going, bro. Even after this review, I gotta keep going for Always Sunny. Gotta keep going with the channel, fam. I know. It really shows how much of a life you don't have. Bimmy, how come you always just come in here at like the beginning of reviews and then just like be a dick? I don't even have a dick though. Like you can see, right? Yeah, we can all see Bimmy. We can all. Mm-hmm. No, you can just. You can just go now. Yeah. Should I? Should I just? Yeah, I should go and review the episodes now. Yes. 1. Mac and Dennis Manhunters. Mac and Dennis hunt cricket for fun. Meanwhile, Charlie and Dee think they ate human meat. Oh, we start the season off very strongly as we have a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I love this episode a lot. Both plots here are really good in my opinion. I think this is one of those times where I actually kind of prefer the B plot to an episode. Don't get me wrong, I still really do like the Mac and Dennis part of this episode. Seeing Cricket just get messed with is always fun. Cricket's such an easy character to like poke fun at. And this episode's just proof of it. I mean, though, you gotta give him credit. He can run, he can jump, and like do all that crap very well. You see him running away from Mac and Dennis. So yeah, their part is really dumb, but in a funny way. Just seeing them just pretty much like that short story, The Most Dangerous Hunt or something like that. I probably screwed up the title. I read it for like my freshman year of high school though, so I actually do know the story. That's at least kind of being parodied here. What I haven't seen is Rambo, which is totally irrelevant because Frank totally didn't base these quotes off Rambo in this episode. Rambo has nothing to do with Frank in this episode. The best part of this episode, though, is easily the Charlie and Dee stuff. Charlie is my favorite character, and Dee is the least peak member, but you're being the least peak member of the gang. You're still a member of the gang. I still love Dee, but I find it crazy how, despite my differences on them in terms of like my opinion, they as a duo is like one of the best. As I think about it, we really are seeing like arguably the two of the best duos in Always Sunny history. Maybe even the two best, Mac and Dennis, and then Charlie and Dee. And just watching them play off each other, it's super funny. I love this episode a lot. It's extremely hilarious throughout. A lot of really good jokes, and once again, no Rambo. The episode also gives a good ethical question of are you a racist for wanting to eat white human meat instead of black human meat? Very insightful question there, Charlie and Dee. 2. Gang solves the gas crisis. The guys try to figure out their team roles. Meanwhile, Frank and Dee try to get their money back from Bruce. Just gotta take a drink now because I don't want to keep fucking up my lines. This one is a 5 out of 5. Ever since I first saw this one, this was always one of my favorite Always Sunny episodes. I mean, come on. This episode just plays on each of the guys' roles. Okay, so Mac is apparently the leader, Dennis is Looks, and Charlie's the wild card, bitches. It's just funny seeing each of them like trying to think. Just seeing them try to act like their roles. Because really, the gang is just a whole bunch of douchebags. At the face of it, Dennis is just manipulative. Mac is obsessed with karate, and Charlie is just an idiot. I guess he's maybe a bit of a wild card. Maybe they got that one right, actually. But it is funny seeing them try to act like they know who their place. Because I feel like that's something I feel like all friend groups kind of do, or at least, something we like to think about. I know my brother and his group of friends do that all the time where they try to figure out who's who. So, despite being awful people, this isn't really that weird for the gang, or at least them to do. The D and Frank stuff is also very funny as well. I always love how the show can call back to a character or a thing from like seasons ago and get it and just bring it back, bring up Bruce again, Dennis and Dee's real dad and all that. And also them just ruining this poor dude's car. Like, what did Twin do? He was relaxing and eating cereal at the end, and it's like you're just fucking up his life, bro. So yeah, overall, one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. Love this one a lot. Admittedly, the actual gas crisis stuff may be a bit more relevant now here in America due to political situations I very much do not care enough to dig into. But I mostly do love this one for the gang trying to figure out who's who, and also Frank and Dee trying to get back at Bruce, or the guy they think is Bruce, but is really just some random dude. And okay, this is the bummer. If you've seen my Dinosaur season 2 review, then hey, another episode, another banned episode that I can't watch. Yeah, episode 3 of the season I cannot view. All I know is that it's about like a billboard contest or some crap, and D does a lot of racist caricatures, so that's why the episode is banned off Disney Plus and Hulu, which is where I watched the show. It's not like Starcraving Dead from The Simpsons, where I just so happened to also have the DVD, so I was able to watch the review. That was a very lucky and rare case. So unfortunately, I cannot review this episode. From clips I've seen just on YouTube and also a few people reacting to it on YouTube, it seems like a perfectly funny enough episode. And we even get Green Man. Come on, Disney, you're making me miss Green Man. But yeah, what can you do? My brother asked this to me, and so I'm gonna say it now. I For a band episode like this, I know there's probably some YouTube riff of it or some crap, but I don't. To be quite blunt, I do not trust YouTubers or anything like that. As a YouTuber, it's not that I don't respect you guys. It's just that I like watching my shows on like a more official platforms, so I'm not gonna trust some YouTube upload of some episode. Okay. So yeah, sorry. Again, if I ever somehow find a way to watch this episode legally without YouTube or Black Hand Mark or some crap, then I'll do like a point 0.5 and just review this episode and add it into the season and the overall series. But for now, I'm skipping over it. What can you do? 4. Max banging the waitress. Charlie thinks Max is his best friend, but he's, So Dennis tries to be in between their bromance. Okay, strangely, Frank and Dee are just not in this episode at all. It's not even like the gas crisis episode where they have like their own B plot. They are just point blank not in this one. Don't ask me why, but I mean, kind of just happened. Bimmy, what are you doing here, Bimmy? You really don't think Danny freaking DeVito, is gonna be like too busy to do other stuff? Like maybe he has a life outside of the show. Oh, that's actually kind of a good point. Crap. Okay, you're right, Bimmy. You're right, Bimmy. I'm sorry. I'll give you some extra carrots for that one. Yeah, freaking love carrots. Holy stereotype. Anyways, so regardless of whether or not Frank or Dee are in this episode, I still think it's a good one. 4 out of 5. It's maybe a little slow paced in parts, but it's still a funny episode. I do like the fact they reference Dennis doing the waitress back in, I believe, Charlie has cancer from season 1. That could be the problem when you watch these seasons like months apart, almost a year. It can make it difficult to fully remember everything in a show like this where they do call back to past events. Still, though, it's a funny episode. Dennis is perfectly in character here. Obviously he's so jealous by Mac by the idea that he isn't like Mac and Charlie's a first choice for best friend. So of course he has to try to get in the way. It's really funny. And Mac only wanting to bang the waitress to get back at Charlie because he thinks Charlie is like ripping up his Project Badass tapes. Don't even bother asking me what they're about. It's also he might be gay for Charlie and Dennis. I'm not even fully sure about that one. This feels like the real start of like the whole Mac might be gay joke that yeah, the show uses later on. Don't worry about that one, fam. 5. Mac and Charlie die, Part 1. When Mac's dad is ready to leave prison, Mac and Charlie attempt to fake their deaths. So, alright, so I was part 1 of this two-parter. I think it's a 4 out of 5. Pretty good episode right here. I found the whole glory hole stuff to be a little funny, but kind of just there. I'm not even fully sure why it's even in the episode. It doesn't really do much of anything. I guess other than giving the gang something else to do, besides Mac and Charlie, which I guess is fine. The real Mac and Charlie part of this Mac and Charlie episode, though, is why Mac and Charlie is a funny episode of Mac and Charlie. Just seeing them just dick around, thinking that Mac's dad Luther is out for them again, freaking third time now. You think they'd learn by now not to really even try to deal with this dude. Still, though, it's funny. Mac and Charlie are both total idiots, but in their own way. They remind me of like Bill and Ted or Beavis and Butthead in that way, in that they're both completely stupid. So seeing them try to do something like fake their own deaths is just funny to watch. Mac driving Dee's car into the brick wall, never jumping out was funny to me. So he gets all crazy and wants to buy a freaking wedding dress. And then, even though Charlie denies it, says, no, you can't buy it. He's still wearing the wedding dress next time we see them. That's just funny. I can't even, there's no other words for it. It's just funny, So yeah, overall, just a really strong opening to this two-parter. Really makes me curious about what happens next, especially since now Mac and Charlie are officially claimed dead. Dennis being more so upset that they didn't let him join in their suicide pact, which is just again funny to me because Dennis is so self-absorbed. Dee not buying it, and Frank just missing Charlie. Let's see what part 2 has in store. 6. Mac and Charlie die, part 2. With Mac and Charlie gone, Dennis finds a new roommate. Frank misses Charlie, and Dee discovers what Mac and Charlie are up to. Okay, so this one is still a 4 out of 5, but I must say, unlike Gang Gets Whacked from last season, which I personally thought were very close in terms of quality, I found part 2 much weaker than part 1, despite still getting the same rating. For me, the problem with part 2 was that it feels like with part 1 they had a lot of fun writing Mac and Charlie, like just dealing with the situation. But in part 2, people already think they're dead, or at least Mac and Charlie thinks that everyone knows that they're dead until Dee discovers them, and then by then it's revealed that Dennis knew long before even Dee knew. So the whole thing kind of turns into, it feels like they kind of fizzle out by part 2. This is the kind of episode I like more for random funny moments rather than the full thing being like, oh man, this is peak right here. It's still good. Dee on the bus to me is the clear highlight. I've never been on the bus, unless you count like a school bus, but we're not counting that. So yeah, it's just funny seeing Dee have to deal with all this. Beyond that, I kind of like how they continue the glory hole stuff from last time. It felt kind of random and thrown in part 1, so seeing part 2 at least expand on that is kind of cool. Almost feels like they kind of just wrote it into part 1, so that way they can use it more for part 2, since, what are they going to do now? Just keep on feeling sorry about Mac and Charlie? Fuck no, Dennis is keeping the duster. And Dennis's brief new European roommate was also a good one-off character, decently funny. And Frank's Charlie thing, who may not have done naughty stuff with, we don't even talk about that. So yeah, good episode, but again, story-wise, is kind of, again, just fizzles out, as I said earlier. Like, man. Definitely one where I prefer the jokes over the story. And by the end, Luther doesn't even want to deal with Mac and Charlie anymore, which honestly, fair play to him. If I was Luther, I wouldn't want to deal with my son and his crazy off friend either. Whole thing is just 7. Who pooped the bed? Mac and Dennis try to figure out who's been pooping, Frank or Charlie. Also, Dee Also, D tries playing Sex in the City, yo. Top tier episode, this one, it's a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I love this episode. It as someone who doesn't typically like mystery stuff that much, I found this episode to be very funny. I think it's because, like Dennis says, it's not really the poop itself; it's just the mystery behind the poop, or rather, for me, the viewer. I find it really funny that, that of course, all of the gang except D, I guess, are so wrapped up in the freaking mystery poo, and the reveal of who actually did the poo. That's right, plural. There's multiple. Is funny. I like the reveal though. Is there anything else left to say about this episode? The D stuff was funny as well. As someone who's never really seen Sex in the City, I still found her just trying to pal around with the waitress who hates her, and Artemis, who has a bleached asshole, is funny. There's not a lot really comes from it other than Artemis also being curious about the poop, but it's still good. Artemis really is a peak side character, one of the show's best. So just getting more of her is always a good thing, in my opinion. So yeah, the top tier episode. I love this one. 8. Patty's Pub, worst bar in Philadelphia. When the bar gets a bad review, Charlie kidnaps the critic so he can write a better review. Not gonna lie, kind of shocked we had to wait till season 4 before we got the generic, we got a bad review plot. Bob's Burgers waited until season 2 to do this plot line. Can't believe you wait till season 4. I guess they just got that class in them. Also, once again, Frank is nowhere to be found in this one. Hell, okay, so Dee's missing in 1 episode, and now Frank's missing in 2. Yes, I know. The whole Dane DeVito, he's probably out doing something important, yada, yada, yada. Either or, what's my takeaway from this episode? Another 4 out of 5. This one's kind of like Mac and Charlie Die Part 2, where I really remember it more for specific jokes rather than the plot being interesting. I mean, the plot really is just your standard thing. So many shows and movies have done this plot line. It's the fact that it's an Always Sunny episode that makes it interesting. Seeing the gang, this time Frank's not in this one, but the rest of them, just being their natural, horrible selves in this type of situation makes it funny. Mac and Charlie having to help the critic P is freaking hilarious. Watching Dennis and Dee be in this wrong person's apartment and they kidnap that random guy too, and end up getting the critic's cat when you're supposed to get the other guy's cat. Freaking funny. A lot of the scenes in this episode are funny. So even though the story itself isn't the most interesting, this one's proof that even if your story isn't the most engaging or whatever, as long as you're just funny, it makes up for a lot of your shortcomings. Something I think the show can do very well when it needs to, although usually they are really good at making stories, so it's not usually a problem with Always Sunny, but it is the case in this specific episode. This is a good one. Also, I swear to God, I cannot stop listening to their cover of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. I know I did a very terrible cover of it, but trust me, I can't stop listening to their version of it. I started listening to it even before I started watching season 4, and I'm hooked, twin. Dennis Reynolds, An Erotic Life. This is episode 9, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Mac and Frank help Dennis publish his smut memoirs. Meanwhile, Charlie and Dee walk a mile in each other's shoes. 4 out of 5. Something I'm really noticing about season 4 is that they really are just focusing on just telling jokes. Especially when compared to the first 3 seasons, it feels like a lot of the episodes in here are just what random things can we make the characters do in this episode. Again, though, the fact I'm giving all these good reviews means I am liking this direction in the show, even if it's not my preferred way the show handles itself. I do like when they have the multiple plot lines interjecting with each other and all that. I think season 3 did a lot of those types of things very well, but regardless, this is still a really funny episode. Dennis's whole experience with Sinbad to me is the highlight. I don't know who the hell Sinbad or the Robinson guy is who was with him, but they were both really funny in this episode. Sing a song. Shut up. Oh no, my hands are bigger. I'm bigger than Jesus. It's just funny to me. Really, really funny. The Mac and Frank stuff is really just an excuse to see them just dick around with like cancer and with Mac faking having cancer, learning from good old Charlie from back in season one. If you know, you know. And just seeing them doing stuff like being in a movie theater, and eventually they copy Charlie and Dee's idea and they walk a mile in each other's shoe. It's just really dumb, but in a really funny way. And then you have Charlie and Dee, their whole thing of walking in each other's shoes. Dee having spent a night at Charlie's apartment, freaking the Shining twins. What are they doing here? We don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe you know. You've always known. And then we have Charlie going to the same stand-up place that Dee always goes to. Or find out that Dee dry heaves when under pressure like that. So, yeah, she's never becoming an actress twin. Just a funny-ass episode. The actual erotic memoir stuff kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but I don't really care when what's on the screen is this funny. 10. Sweet Dee has a heart attack. Dennis and Dee try getting fit. Meanwhile, Charlie and Mac get jobs for health insurance. Also, Frank takes a ton of pills. I love this episode. 5 out of 5. Dee has a heart attack. The gang, in their classic selves, couldn't care less that, like, their friend, slash straight up sister in Dennis's case, slash technically daughter in Frank's case, none of them care. Dee truly is the mega Griffin of the group, and you know what? As bad as that might sound for her, Dee is also kind of a bitch, so it's like, it's pros and cons. Either way, top tier one right here. Dennis and Dee acting like they're going to get better, but then just chickening out every chance they get is funny. It's something we've all done with something or another. Come on, we've all had that stuff we said, oh yeah, we're totally going to do it. And then we just never do it, bro. Like, we've all been there, so it's hard to fully get mad at them for it. Well, you can't start to get mad at Dee when she, like, needles that thing into Dennis's eye, or at least this region. You can get mad at her for that. That was pretty bad, Dee. As for Charlie and Mac, them getting jobs just for health insurance was classic. I mean, come on, Pepe Sylvia, one of the greatest scenes in any comedy ever made. That one scene makes the whole episode deserve a 5 alone. But even the other stuff is really funny with Mac trying to act like he's the guy, and then he gets a phone call from the guy being, "What the hell are you doing in my office?" And he's like, "Arr." It's just funny. Admittedly, the one weak side of this episode is the Frank stuff. It's not bad, but I've never seen a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Second time bringing it up now, but Simpsons' Stark Raving Dad also parodied this movie, and I never saw the movie when I watched that either. But I think it did it better because A, it got more screen time, and B, they had like other jokes. The whole Frank stuff in this episode is just, man, Danny DeVito was in that movie, and now Danny DeVito is doing a parody of that movie, a movie I've never seen. So guess what? It's not that funny. Still a top tier episode though. 5 out of 5. I love this one. Me not caring about the Frank stuff doesn't take away from the fact that the Dennis and Dee stuff and Charlie and Mac stuff is peak fiction. 11. Gang cracks the Liberty Bell. The guys lie about their bar being around at the time of the Liberty Bell cracking. Okay, so I'm about to bust your balls here. This one's a 4 out of 5, and it's a really good episode. I am sick and tired of people acting like it was never good. When I first watched this one years ago, I thought, man, I like this episode. Where the hell's all this hate coming from? The only thing I know why people don't like this one is because it's different. And yeah, it's a different episode. The gang being in 1776 during the whole revolution and crap. But I don't see that as a negative. It's funny. It proves that the gang and their whole terrible, reckless ways are funny in any time period. Come on, Charlie and Frank being thieves. Frank explained to Charlie, we don't trade, we're thieves. We can just steal it. And then wanting the guy to wait while they go get a gun. D just being a witch and their slave the whole time because, women didn't really have rights back then, which I wish it was like that now. Oh shit, wait, women are going to be watching this. I didn't say anything. Anyways, and then of course, seeing Cricket being still being madly in love with a D, even though he really, really shouldn't be. Even in this timeline, like what the hell, dude? Get a life, you chud. It's just a really funny episode. Also, I can call Cricket chud because like he's still working for the British, who are undeniably in the wrong in this situation at IRL. So yeah, Cricket, you chud. Really good episode. Never understood the hate for this one. It's on the higher end of a 4, close to a 5 even. 12. Gang Gets Extreme Home Makeover Edition. The gang helps a family with their house, but the family doesn't know that they're doing it. Okay, so don't have a lot to say about this one. 4 out of 5. It's good, but not like, oh man, so top tier. It's just like a good episode of It's Always Sunny. If anything, I feel like this is the example of like what an average episode of the show is. It's kind of what you expect from an episode of the show at this point. It's the gang being awful in the usual way is like, yeah, this is Always Sunny, but it's not the show doing anything special. I guess D mistranslating Spanish was pretty funny. Dennis showing off how he can spread his legs was pretty funny too. That was a good bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want proof that this is one of the lesser good episodes of the season, I barely even remember this one existed before watching this, for remembering I'm reviewing the season and all that. Like, literally, all these other ones, it's like, bam, I can remember them. But this one, I straight up forgot until, like, I started to even reach watching this one. Again, though, I want to reiterate, it's a good freaking episode. It's just, I've never seen Home Makeover and don't really care about these types of, like, destroying house shows. Come on, Z-Man. You're telling me you don't remember destroy, build, destroy. Okay, Ben, me two things. One, that wasn't a destroying a house show. And two, did you just reference Cartoon Network fucking real in my channel? You rebel scum. I'm so cool. 13. Nightman Cometh. Charlie writes a play that the gang stars in. Man, I want to be so different so bad. I want to be the dude who says, this one's overrated. This one isn't that good. I'm being different, but I can't because it's a 5 out of 5 and the best episode of the entire season. But, like, come on, it's Nightman freaking Cometh. We all know this is a top tier episode, right? I shouldn't have to explain myself with this one. In fact, I'm gonna not really say much here because if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're an It's Always Sunny fan. You know why this is a 5 out of 5. Hell, most people barely even know the show No Nightman Cometh. It's this show's magnum opus, if you will. While there is one more episode I like more than it even so far, and there will be a few more here and there, this is in most people's top 10 episodes of the whole show, and yeah, from what I've seen of the show, which is like the first 8 seasons, it's in mine, okay? I'm sorry. I know I like being different. I like not going with the flow in terms of public opinions, but I can't help it. This episode's top tier. The whole musical section in and of itself speaks volumes to just how damn funny the crew in the show are. With that, let's get to the list. At the bottom at number 12, with the 4 out of 5s, we have Mac and Charlie Die Part 2. Gang gets Extreme Home Makeover Edition, Patty's Pub, Worst Bar in Philadelphia, Max Banging the Waitress, Dennis Reynolds An Erotic Life, Mac and Charlie Die Part 1, and The Gang Cracks the Liberty Bell. And now the top 5, which are all 5 out of 5s. We have Sweet D Has a Heart Attack, Mac and Dennis Manhunters, Who Pooped the Bed, Gang Solves Gas Crisis, and of course Nightman Cometh is number 1. Who expected anything else? So yeah, that's season 4. Admittedly, I feel a little bad talking about the season compared to season 3 because the first 3 seasons felt like the show was slowly growing. Season 1 was the beginning. Season 2 is when we got Frank and Danny DeVito and all that, and the show became better. And then season 3 is what I consider to be when the show turns from really good to a fucking masterpiece. But season 4, it's just kind of more of season 3. If anything, I almost would say I prefer season 3 compared to season 4. It's slightly longer, a few more episodes. Plus, it just has a few more peak episodes and gems for me. But season 4, if It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is still a top tier season of television. I mean, literally, still no 3 out of 5s. The fact that season 2, 3, and now 4 have all escaped episodes, all have episodes that every single episode in them is good in my opinion. That is insane to think that a show could be that consistently awesome. So yeah, season 4 is really good. I'm always down to cover It's Always Sunny. It's a show I find very easy to watch. So that's probably why it got to season 4 first before any other show. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.